Hello ladies and welcome to the channel. Strength is not in controlling others, but in controlling yourself. Sigma Female Dynasty. In a world teeming with overinflated egos and shallow displays of bravado, there's one truth that stands irrefutable. Sigma women do not suffer fools, especially those who mistake arrogance for confidence. Studies reveal that nearly 70% of women value emotional intelligence and authenticity over superficial charm, but Sigma women take it even further. They're immune to the petty power plays and hollow performances of jerks. Beneath their calm, independent exterior lies a mind that dissects intentions with surgical precision. The real question is, why do these women utterly despise jerks? It goes beyond simple annoyance. It's a clash of values, intelligence, and self-worth that jerks never saw coming. And the reasons for this disdain, well, they're brutally specific. Number 1. Jerks confuse confidence with cockiness. Jerks love to parade around with an air of confidence, but it's all a front. What they really display is cockiness, a cheap knockoff of the real thing. Confidence is grounded in self-assurance, the quiet knowledge that you have nothing to prove to anyone. Cockiness, on the other hand, is an ego on steroids, driven by insecurity and the constant need for validation. Sigma women know the difference because they live it every day. A jerk walks into a room and demands attention, but a Sigma woman walks in and commands it without uttering a word. She doesn't need to flaunt or put on a show. She's comfortable in her own skin. That's why cocky men irritate her. She sees right through their inflated sense of self-worth. To her, their boastfulness is nothing more than a desperate attempt to cover up deep-seated flaws. It's like watching someone clumsily juggle fragile pieces of their ego, afraid of letting them drop. And that's exactly what cockiness is, fragile. What jerks don't understand is that confidence isn't about taking up space and making noise, it's about presence. Sigma women possess an internal calm that speaks louder than any boast or brag. Jerks, by contrast, can't handle that kind of quiet power. They misinterpret it as weakness or indifference, when in fact it's the ultimate show of strength. A Sigma woman doesn't have time for someone who needs constant reassurance or plays up their so-called dominance. She's looking for someone who stands beside her as an equal, not someone who tries to stand above her, desperately hoping she'll look up in awe. And here's the truth. Jerks will always confuse their cockiness for confidence because they've never experienced the real thing. Number 2. Jerks don't handle strong women well. Jerks crumble when faced with a strong woman. It's not because they're actually intimidated by her strength, though they like to pretend they are. The real issue is that they can't handle a woman who doesn't need them to feel complete. Sigma women embody that independence, and jerks simply don't know how to react. They're used to being the center of attention, the one everyone looks to for approval or validation. But a Sigma woman doesn't play by those rules. She's self-sufficient, confident, and has no interest in boosting anyone's ego. For a jerk, this is a nightmare. His entire identity is built on the belief that women need him to feel whole. So, when he encounters someone who isn't chasing his approval or bending to his will, he's thrown off balance. He'll often resort to belittling, trying to cut her down to make himself feel bigger. But the problem is, that kind of behavior doesn't work on a Sigma woman. She's been through enough to know her worth, and no amount of manipulation or insults will change that. Instead, she sees right through the pathetic attempts to assert control and loses interest almost immediately. Jerks expect compliance. They crave submission. When a strong woman like a Sigma refuses to bow, they either lash out or retreat. Both responses only highlight their weakness. They can't handle someone who challenges their inflated sense of power. The truth is, jerks are looking for validation, and strong women don't give it to them. A Sigma woman isn't going to stroke anyone's ego or play the role of the adoring fan. She's looking for mutual respect, real connection and equality, things a jerk is incapable of offering. That's why he'll always fall short, unable to rise to her level. Number 3. They don't entertain fixer-upper projects. Sigma women don't have time for fixer-uppers. They don't buy into the idea that they can change someone or mold them into a better version of themselves. If a man shows up with a long list of emotional baggage, toxic traits, or unresolved issues, a Sigma woman sees it for what it is, not her problem. She's not about to waste her energy trying to fix someone who isn't willing to do the work themselves. It's exhausting, and frankly, she knows it never works. Jerks often come into relationships with a sense of entitlement, expecting someone to tolerate their bad behavior and somehow transform them into better men. They might act like their flaws are something a woman should want to heal or fix. But Sigma women aren't buying it. They don't romanticize the idea of playing therapist or caretaker. They're not going to sacrifice their own well-being to help a man grow up emotionally. Here's the thing. Sigma women value independence, not just in themselves, but in their partners too. They expect the people in their lives to show up already whole, not looking for someone to fix them. It's about maturity. A Sigma woman isn't going to stick around for the emotional roller coaster of trying to change a man who clearly has no interest in changing himself. She knows that real growth comes from within, and she's not about to be someone's crutch or project. Jerks rely on women who are willing to put in that emotional labor, but Sigma women refuse. They're not impressed by a man who needs to be taught how to treat someone with respect. If he's not already in a good place emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, she's not going to waste her time pretending she can fix what's broken. Number 4, emotional intelligence exposes weakness. Emotional intelligence is something jerks just don't have, and Sigma women can spot that from a mile away. For a jerk, being emotionally intelligent feels like a weakness because it forces them to be vulnerable and self-aware, two things they actively avoid. But for Sigma women, emotional intelligence is a strength. It's the ability to understand not just their own emotions, but also those of others, and it's essential for building real, meaningful connections. When a jerk shows his lack of emotional depth, a Sigma woman instantly knows he's not someone she wants to invest in. What makes it worse is that jerks often try to hide their emotional shortcomings by overcompensating with bravado and machismo. They think being tough and detached makes them look strong, but in reality, it just highlights their immaturity. A Sigma woman sees right through this act. She's not impressed by someone who avoids tough conversations or can't handle emotional honesty. To her, that's not strength, it's fear. And she's not going to waste her time with someone who's afraid to face his own emotions, let alone hers. In relationships, emotional intelligence is key to resolving conflicts, communicating effectively, and showing empathy. Jerks fail on all counts. They can't handle the vulnerability that comes with real intimacy, and they're uncomfortable when a Sigma woman challenges them to go deeper. Instead of growing, they lash out or retreat, proving just how emotionally stunted they really are. For a Sigma woman, this is a deal breaker. She knows that a man's ability to connect emotionally is crucial to any real relationship. And if he can't do that, he's simply not worth her time. A jerk's emotional ignorance doesn't just expose his weakness, it guarantees that he'll never be able to keep up with her. Number 5. Jerks are boring. Jerks are boring, plain and simple. They think their over-the-top antics and cocky attitudes make them exciting, but to a Sigma woman, it's the same predictable, tiresome act every time. They thrive on drama, stirring up conflict to keep things interesting, because deep down, they don't have much else to offer. But that gets old fast. A Sigma woman who values depth and authenticity sees through their shallow games almost immediately. What jerks fail to understand is that real intrigue comes from substance, not shock value. They think being loud and brash makes them stand out, but it's really just masking the fact that they have no real personality to speak of. They're one-dimensional, cycling through the same behaviors, arrogance, manipulation, and control, as if that's all there is to being interesting. To a Sigma woman, it's not only unappealing but downright boring. She craves mental stimulation, intellectual conversations, and emotional depth. Jerks, on the other hand, are stuck in a loop of surface-level nonsense. Jerks often mistake their constant need for attention as a sign that they're exciting or adventurous. But the truth is, it's just insecurity wrapped up in a bad personality. A Sigma woman who is secure in herself doesn't need the chaos or drama that jerks rely on to feel relevant. She's looking for someone who brings more to the table. Someone with layers, interests, and emotional complexity. What makes jerks especially boring is their inability to evolve. They repeat the same behaviors and expect the same results, never realizing that they've become entirely predictable. A Sigma woman wants growth and change, not the same old tired games. She's not going to waste her time on someone who's stuck in emotional and intellectual stagnation. Jerks might think they're keeping things exciting, but in reality, they're just stuck in a boring rut. Number 6. They know their value and demand it. Sigma women know their value, and they aren't shy about demanding it. They've spent too much time working on themselves, mentally, emotionally, and professionally, to settle for anything less than what they deserve. This is where jerks completely miss the mark. Jerks operate on the assumption that they can charm or manipulate their way into a woman's life without actually bringing anything of substance. But with a Sigma woman, that's a dead end. A Sigma woman understands her worth on every level. She's not looking for validation from anyone because she's already validated herself. This self-assurance means she's not going to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or half-hearted effort from a man. Jerks, on the other hand, are all about pushing boundaries and testing limits, thinking they can get away with the bare minimum. They believe they can offer crumbs of attention or affection and still be the center of someone's world. Not with a Sigma woman. For a Sigma woman, relationships are about mutual respect and reciprocity. She knows what she brings to the table and expects her partner to meet her at that same level. She's not interested in games or ego boosts. If a man isn't pulling his weight or living up to her standards, she'll walk away without hesitation. It's not about being demanding, it's about knowing her value and refusing to settle for anything less. Jerks hate this. They're used to being able to manipulate situations to their advantage, but a Sigma woman's self-worth is unshakable. She doesn't fall for empty promises or superficial charm. She wants action, respect, and consistency. And if a jerk can't provide that, he's out of her life as quickly as he entered. There's no room for negotiation because a Sigma woman knows exactly what she's worth, and she demands it unapologetically. Number 7. Authenticity over machismo. Authenticity is the currency of relationships for Sigma women, and they value it far more than any facade of machismo that jerks might put on. While jerks flaunt their inflated personas, often drenched in bravado and tough guy attitudes, Sigma women seek something real, something that resonates on a deeper level. They can smell inauthenticity from a mile away, and the moment a man starts spouting off cliché lines or playing up his alpha status, she tunes out completely. For a Sigma woman, authenticity is about being genuine and true to oneself, not performing a role to impress others. She thrives on honesty, whether it's in a casual conversation or a deeper, more vulnerable moment. When she meets someone, she wants to see the real him, flaws and all. Jerks, in contrast, often hide behind a mask of exaggerated confidence, thinking that if they just play the part well enough, they can win her over. But that game doesn't work on a woman who has built her identity on being unapologetically herself. A Sigma woman values emotional maturity and self-awareness, traits that jerks typically lack. They're so caught up in projecting an image of toughness that they miss the opportunity for genuine connection. She's not interested in someone who feels the need to prove his worth through bravado. She wants someone who can share his vulnerabilities without flinching. Authenticity leads to intimacy, and jerks are simply not equipped for that level of engagement. In her eyes, authenticity is a sign of strength, while machismo reveals nothing but insecurity. Sigma women want partners who are comfortable in their own skin, who aren't afraid to drop the pretense and show their true selves. This need for authenticity ultimately sets them apart from jerks, who are stuck in a cycle of performative behavior, desperate for approval but too afraid to be real. For Sigma women, authenticity is not just attractive, it's essential. Number 8. Their inner peace disarms toxic behavior. A Sigma woman possesses an inner peace that many jerks find disarming, and that's precisely why they can't stand her. While jerks thrive on chaos and drama, often seeking to stir the pot for their own amusement, a Sigma woman exudes a calm that disrupts their toxic games. Her tranquility is not just a personality trait. It's a shield against the emotional turbulence that jerks often create. When she walks into a room, there's an aura of confidence and serenity that puts everyone at ease, even if they don't realize it. Jerks, on the other hand, are like a storm, unpredictable and often destructive. They feed off drama and thrive on emotional upheaval, hoping to assert dominance through manipulation and control. But when they encounter a Sigma woman, their tactics often fall flat. She doesn't react to their provocation in the way they expect. Instead, she remains composed, refusing to engage in their petty power plays. This doesn't just frustrate jerks, it confounds them. They can't understand why their usual antics don't work. Her inner peace acts as a mirror, reflecting their immaturity and emotional instability. Jerks often mistake her calm demeanor for indifference or weakness, but she knows exactly what they're doing. Rather than feed into their drama, she simply chooses to rise above it. This refusal to engage with toxic behavior only emphasizes her strength. She stands firm in her sense of self, refusing to let anyone else dictate her emotional state. In a world filled with noise and chaos, a Sigma woman's inner peace is a rare gem. It's not about being aloof, it's about being grounded. Jerks can't handle someone who operates on a different frequency, and that's precisely why they're drawn to her but ultimately pushed away. Her calm is a stark reminder that real strength doesn't need to shout, it simply exists, and that's where the true power lies. Number 9. No patience for petty power games. Sigma women have little patience for the petty power games that jerks often play. They're experts at manipulating situations and people to maintain a sense of control. But to a Sigma woman, these antics come off as childish and exhausting. While jerks may see relationships as a chess match where every move is calculated to gain the upper hand, Sigma women approach life with a refreshing sense of authenticity and directness. They're not interested in elaborate strategies or emotional mind games. They want genuine connections built on mutual respect. The truth is, Sigma women thrive on transparency and honesty. They appreciate straightforward communication and disdain the cloak and dagger tactics that jerks often rely on. When a jerk tries to assert dominance through subtle digs or passive-aggressive comments, a Sigma woman recognizes the tactic for what it is: insecurity disguised as bravado. Instead of engaging in the games, she simply refuses to play along. This is where the frustration sets in for jerks. They can't control someone who won't be drawn into their drama. For a Sigma woman, time is too precious to waste on unnecessary conflict. She's busy living her life, pursuing her passions and cultivating her own interests. The last thing she wants is to navigate the toxic waters of someone else's power struggles. Jerks might think they can rattle her, but she knows that strength comes from within. When she encounters their immature attempts at manipulation, she sees it as a reflection of their weakness, not hers. This clarity gives Sigma women an edge in relationships. They can quickly identify when someone is trying to play games and they simply walk away. There's no emotional investment in someone who refuses to engage at a mature level. In a world filled with petty power plays, Sigma women stand out as beacons of strength and clarity, choosing to rise above the chaos rather than getting dragged into it. Number 10. Surface-level attraction falls flat. Surface-level attraction doesn't impress Sigma women. In fact, it repulses them. Jerks often rely on physical looks, charm, and flashy displays to win people over, thinking that a good appearance or a flashy car will suffice to create a meaningful connection. They believe that showing off their lifestyle or boasting about their conquests will spark interest. But for a Sigma woman, that's nothing more than an empty promise. She craves substance and depth, and when all she sees is a polished exterior hiding a hollow core, her interest fades quickly. What jerks fail to understand is that true attraction goes beyond the surface. It's about connection, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Sigma women are drawn to people who can engage her mind, challenge her thoughts, and resonate with her values. A flashy smile or a well-rehearsed line might catch her eye initially, but if there's no depth behind it, she'll see right through the facade. The truth is, she's looking for someone who can match her in every way, not someone who simply checks the boxes of societal expectations. Moreover, Sigma women understand that looks fade, but character and intelligence last a lifetime. They're not interested in a short-lived thrill. They want a partnership that can grow and evolve. Jerks often live in a superficial bubble, constantly chasing the next shiny object while neglecting the beauty of genuine connection. When a Sigma woman realizes that a jerk is only bringing surface-level charm to the table, she won't waste her time. She recognizes that a relationship built on physical attraction alone lacks the foundation to withstand the trials of life. Ultimately, for a Sigma woman, the depth of character is the most captivating trait of all, and anything less is simply not worth her attention. In the intricate dance of relationships, Sigma women stand firm in their understanding of self-worth and authenticity, refusing to compromise for the sake of fleeting attraction or shallow antics. Their ability to see through the facades and recognize the depth or lack thereof in others sets them apart from those who might be drawn to the surface. Jerks, with their inflated egos and penchant for manipulation, often find themselves bewildered in the presence of a Sigma woman. They fail to grasp that she is not there to boost their insecurities or engage in their games. She seeks a connection built on mutual respect, emotional intelligence, and genuine substance. For Sigma women, relationships are not about playing power games or indulging in drama. They are about forging meaningful bonds that nurture growth and understanding. Their strength lies not just in their independence, but in their commitment to authenticity, ensuring that they only invest their time and energy into those who are willing to meet them at their level. Jerks may thrive in a world of superficial charm and bravado, but they will always fall short with a Sigma woman who knows her value and demands the same from those around her. In a landscape where many settle for the illusion of connection, Sigma women remain steadfast, paving their own paths and embracing their unique identities. They teach us that true strength is not about dominating others, but about uplifting oneself and seeking genuine connections. In a society riddled with mediocrity, the clarity, depth, and resilience of Sigma women shine brightly, reminding us all of the power of being unapologetically true to oneself. If you've enjoyed uncovering the insights about Sigma women and their unique approach to relationships, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Join a community that values authenticity and real connections, and stay updated with content that challenges the norm. Hit that subscribe button and empower yourself to embrace your true self and navigate relationships with confidence. Your voice matters, and we want you with us on this journey. Thanks for watching, and bye.